My name is Phil McDermott, and my role is to develop strategic energy partnerships with cities and regions here in the UK.
What is the most impactful change you've seen in your field, and what made it successful?
There's a number of changes that have been happening in recent years in the energy industry, and the biggest change we've seen is the move to using localized, sustainable energy. And I think there's been a big movement over a number of years to transition the UK's economy to renewable energy, and a lot of investment and work has been done on major energy generation schemes such as offshore wind, but less has been done locally. And our role within E.ON is to drive place-based decarbonisation projects, and by doing that, what we can do is implement localized energy generation, for example, rooftop solar, combined with heat pumps for building decarbonisation and heat network developments, combined with EV charging. So we can use effectively localized and locally produced energy to supply local residents, local businesses, local needs. And by doing that, we alleviate any of the investments that the wider country needs into the grid. So we create more self-sufficiency locally, and the aim is we reduce costs locally, but also we increase resilience and we protect customers and communities from price shocks. So this is all about how we become more self-sufficient, more sustainable for the long term.
What's a common misconception people have about sustainability or your work?
I wouldn't say it's a misconception, but I think there's a lot of jargon. I think net zero itself can create a lot of confusion. I think for the everyday person in the street, it's a very difficult thing to understand and feels like it's way above and way beyond anyone's world, really. And I think it's a difficult thing to describe. So I think net zero itself isn't a very helpful, even though it's a legal requirement for cities and for the UK to achieve, it's not a very easy to understand concept. Whereas I think what is easier to understand is lower costs and also affordability, and using self-sufficiency, so using what you can create yourself. And what we're trying to do is increase all of those things by making sure that customers have got the opportunities to generate their own energy in their own homes and use it themselves and reduce the costs thereby. And it all working so they don't have to think about it. And then it becomes about actually, how does this support me and my lifestyle and how I live?
So what initially inspired you to get involved in sustainability?
The opportunity to be involved in a very big industrial change. It's something that has impacted the world, ensuring that the world has enough energy to meet its increasing needs is an ongoing challenge. And I wanted to be part of something big, and I wanted to say that, to my children, that I've been part of the answer to one of the biggest challenges that we've got. So, and I feel like in my role, and in the roles that I've had at E.ON in the past, I've had a very big impact on the way that the market and the industry has changed and continues to have an impact. And that's what really motivates me.
What's a project or achievement that you're most proud of, and why?
What I'm most proud of is playing a key role in the development of our first citywide energy partnership, which we did in the city of Coventry several years ago. And what that partnership is delivering is a major change in the way that energy is generated and used in the city. It covers not just renewable energy, but it covers heat, low carbon heat and decarbonisation of buildings, and it covers energy related projects such as EV charging across the city, building retrofit projects, school programs, major private sector investment programs to reduce their costs, increase their own sustainability. So it's very wide reaching, and it's that citywide concept, which for the long term, which we know is necessary to change the way that energy is used, but also to drive investment, which in turn creates jobs and creates opportunities for young people to to learn new skills, and create ultimately a whole economic growth on the back of the energy transition. So in terms of what it's looking to achieve, there's a very big goal we're trying to meet through that project. So in terms of its reach, in terms of its size, very proud of being involved in that.
What would you advise to the younger generation who want to get involved in sustainability?
I would say there's a lot of different roles available people can consider. I would say you don't necessarily have to have a degree to do it. I think there are a lot of construction, for example, related trades that support the energy transition. I was recently with some house builders, and we are incorporating energy efficiency technology into new houses. But for house builders, not only do they need carpentry, bricklaying, groundwork skills, but they're going to need, people with the expertise on the electrical side to install solar panels, electric vehicle chargers, heat pumps, and they're also going to need plumbing skills to incorporate new forms of heat and cooling into buildings. So there's a direct link between those sort of trades and also sustainability. But then there's also other roles around engineering, project management, the kind of role I do, which is relationship development led, strategic roles. There are all manner of different roles available at all different levels, and it's just finding organisations like E.ON can offer work experience. So find an opportunity to either, if you're interested in a more of an office related role, work experience opportunities here, but also then if you're interested in more of a role in the field or more of a trade based role, some of the house builders and the supply chain that supports the house builders are able to do that. But it's definitely a gap we've got at the moment, which is how do we offer more work experience in these areas which we're working on. But I would say that I think there's a lot of opportunity, but I would also say in terms of the energy transition, we're doing a lot. We've got all the technology to do it. Don't worry about the future.